Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. It's just me, Adam Cousins, and we are going to review quickly AEW Rampage. AEW Rampage came from the KFC Yum Center. Love that place, mainly for the KFC and anything else. It was a really good lucha libre match that started the show. Penta, Miedo versus Vikingo versus Komander. I mean, if you've watched these matches before with these, especially with these three, you know exactly what you're going to get. And it didn't disappoint. It was a high-flying encounter to kick off Rampage. Really solid match to kick off Rampage. Vikingo hit Poison Rama on the apron at one point. There was a crazy spot fest, as you would imagine. And if you take away the sense of psychology and watch this match for what it was just an insane spot fest. Penta Miedo picks up the victory by hitting the Fear Factor on Komander on top of Vikingo to pick up the win. Listen, Rampage, you can call it what it is. It is what it is, really. It's kind of their C show now. But if they put matches on like this, I don't mind some good wrestling, even if there isn't a storyline sense behind it. So I'm all for having those type of matches. It was a really, really good kickoff to Rampage. As I say, lots of high flying, incredible spots. And it really did open up the show really well. So kudos to AEW for that, and a really good start to Rampage. We moved on quickly after that to Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal versus the Gunn Club. This is really a short, sweet, decent encounter in which the Gunn Club pick up the win. They get on the mic after that, and they say that they're taking the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships off of MJF. Again, it was what it was, glorified squash. The Gunn's getting over. The Gunn's part of Bullet Club Gold, probably one of the best groups in wrestling at the minute. So really getting the Guns over really was the point of this match. And it delivered. It got the Guns over further. Daniels and Sydal really didn't offer too much offense on this. But the Guns win, and now they go on. It looks like they're going to take on MJF at the pay-per-view. So interesting. Danhausen is back. Wait, he's wrong. Next week, Danhausen leaves. Don't quite get what's going on. Danhausen's been out of injury. We know that. Not really sure about this. What happens with Danhausen? He's a great merch seller, that's for sure. But I'm not quite sure where this is going. But we will see next week, I take it. Marvez was talking to the Outcast. Soho is kind of, at this point, sort of getting a bit annoyed about her struggles in the ring. Saraya comes in, tells her to figure out Toni Storm and stick with her. Angelo Parker shows up, offers to comb Ruby's hair. Matt Menard wants to know what happened on Wednesday. He should have taken the bat and cracked Jericho, but he doesn't have the dog in him. Parker doesn't want to do this right now, and he's going to talk to Garcia. So a bit of dissension with Menard and Parker. Kind of was going in two ways. I'm not quite sure what the point of that was. But nevertheless, Ruby Soho not happy. Saraya's just trying to get to stick with her. Toni Storm will still be working her magic. And what happens with Parker, Menard, and Garcia, I guess we'll have to wait and see. The next contest was Marina Shafir versus Skye Blue. Haven't seen Marina Shafir in a while. She's on the Indies with Ronda Rousey at the minute. That's something that's happened. Ronda Rousey starting on the Indies. Marina Shafir, I think she come out to help Marina Shafir in the Indies. She's taking on Skye Blue, who we know recently has been kind of dipping in and out of this House of Black scenario. Will she join the House of Black? Will she join Julia Hart or not? Remains to be seen. It was a reasonably good match, actually, to be fair. But basically, pair of super kicks and the Code Blue finishes it again quite quickly. It was a fine match. It didn't do anything to, I wouldn't say it elevated anybody on this one, but it certainly was what it was. It served its purpose, so to speak. we now move to really one of the, well, it was the main event. And it was a heck of a main event, a big back and forth battle between Daniel Garcia and Trent. Daniel Garcia, I think, was what I said previously, is one of the guys that are going to the top. You know, and I think this match really shows how well he can wrestle. He's a heck of a wrestler for sure. Trent always delivers for AEW. There's nothing, I don't think there's anyone that can doubt that. The match itself, like I said, was such a good back and forth. There was a sheer drop brain buster. There was moonsaults on the floor. There was a couple of German suplexes. There was Daniel Garcia danced. if you're really interested, there was a sexy Chucky knee by Trent. That would have got along too, actually. To be fair, there was a power driver by Garcia, and then he pounds on the back of the neck, locks the crossface in, and gets the victory. Garcia then gets the mic and then decides that he wants MJF, the AEW Heavyweight Championship. And I believe that match has been booked for this week on Dynamite. Too early for Garcia, in my opinion. I don't think anyone expects Garcia to win the match against MJF, but it's yet another enemy to add to what AEW have really been doing brilliantly recently, is making the world champion the center point of the show, which is what we talk about on this show. You want them back in the Attitude Era of wrestling. It was always about the champion. And you have to make your shows about your champion. And now it seems AEW are getting to that point where MJF has got enemies lining up all over the place. Joe, Wardlow, Jay White. He had the one with Omega recently on Collision, which was amazing. Garcia now. And now he's also got the Guns going for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. So he's got a load of enemies at the minute. And it's making for fascinating TV in regards to the heavyweight championship situation. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this week on Dynamite how it pans out of MJF. We know he's got Jay White coming up at Full Gear, so we're not expecting him to lose to Garcia. But again, it's just another enemy to add to the list of MJF's enemies. So really interesting to see how that one pans out. We've also got the Skye Blue situation going on with the House of Black. Will she, won't she? When's it going to happen? Or are they going to do a big swerve and have Nightingale join it? Or is it both a big swerve? That's the interesting bit. Obviously, Skye Blue did missed into Julia Hart's face this week on Dynamite, I believe. So that's going to be an interesting one, because that's had another element to that story. On Collision, we're bound to have a load of good. Collision never ceases to amaze me with how good it is. They've got the people like the House of Black on there, and they're going to have some more interaction, I'm sure, this week with the Blackpool Combat Club. And hopefully we'll get into that on the review show of Collision with the boys or myself, depending on timings. But guys, this has been a really whistle-stop Rampage show. Really fun show. If you like your Lucha Libre and you like your wrestling, definitely the start and the main event, watch both of them, because they're fantastic matches. But guys, it's been a quick whistle-stop tour of AEW Rampage. It's only an hour show, so I can only cram into it on my own as much as I can. But I have been your host, Adam Cousins, and I will be back with you with a Dynamite review. I know the Dynamite's already happened. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'll get down to that review for you as well. Collision will be coming up as well this weekend. We have got interviews galore next week. We are speaking to Joe Garley from NWA. We are speaking to Lance Anoa'i, the cousin of Roman Reigns. We are also going to be talking to Ignite's general manager, CJ Carr, ahead of Curtain Call 2 on the 12th of November. And also, I'm heading off to Rev Pro in about half an hour's time, which will be a fantastic show as always. But guys, this has been a quick show of AEW Rampage. I have been your host, Adam Cousins. And until next time, everybody, buckle down and stay safe.